Listen, I recently finished my 20s.
I just turned 30 this month.
I genuinely thought for years that I would be on the Forbes 30 under 30 list, and it never happened. And I feel like I really accomplished myself. I did a lot more than I expected to, and at the same time, not enough. I think my friend Alana is on there. She's not even American. Does that matter? I don't care. I feel like I did a lot though. Don't you guys remember? All of that, but no money. Oh, so it's about money. That's how you get on the Forbes list. The Money About website, you have to have a bunch of money. But is it everything that I thought it would be? Because there are a lot of people who did make it onto the Forbes 30 under 30 list, and it's not going too well.
The story of a young tech entrepreneur facing criminal charges now. The 31-year-old is accused of fraud for allegedly trying to lure JP Morgan Chase so it would acquire her college financial planning startup for $175 million.
Hi, I'm Robert Tolpe, and today I'm talking about the Forbes 30 under 30 to prison pipeline.
You'll start to notice a bit of a pattern. A lot of the winners, in fact, often the ones that seemed most impressive at the time, seem to end up going to prison.
So maybe, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe I will be successful, and holding myself to a title off of a website isn't as important as I thought. There are actually a couple of people who were on the Forbes 30 under 30 list that, the faster you get there, the faster you're no longer there anymore. Sometimes. Let's investigate that. Martin Shkreli. Am I saying it right?
We'll pause for a moment as Mr. Shkreli is escorted out.
The once high-flying pharmaceutical executive and Forbes honoree became a lightning rod for public outrage because of who he is. But what led to his fall from grace, and why is he so widely disliked? Martin Shkreli first gained notoriety when his company Turing Pharmaceuticals acquired the rights to the drug Daraprim and promptly raised its price by more than 5,000%.
Imagine for a moment popping a pill before bed that costs about $13.50. Now imagine waking up the next morning, find that the price of the exact same pill jumped to $750 overnight.
The move sparked outrage and catapulted Shkreli into the public eye as the face of pharmaceutical greed. Shkreli's public image took a severe hit as he became the poster child for corporate greed and the high cost of life-saving medications. His unapologetic demeanor and dismissive attitude towards his criticism fueled the public's disdain. In 2017, Shkreli faced a federal trial on charges of securities fraud and conspiracy. The allegations stem from his time managing hedge funds and the subsequent misuse of funds to cover losses. During the trial, the prosecution portrayed Shkreli as a calculating manipulator, while the defense argued that he was a brilliant but misunderstood entrepreneur. Right. In the end, the court found Shkreli guilty on multiple counts, including securities fraud and conspiracy to commit securities fraud. He was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison, effectively ending his reign as the quote-unquote bad boy of the pharmaceutical industry.
First is, if you could rewind the clock a few months, I wonder if you would do anything differently.
I probably would have raised the price higher, is probably what I would have done.
His story forces us to confront the ethical boundaries within the pursuit of success and the moral responsibilities that come with it. I'm telling you, if you want to make a whole bunch of money, I'm talking millions, tens of millions of dollars, invent some medical stuff. Because the people who invent the life-saving drugs and even like some type of lotion that they use in hospitals end up making tens of millions of dollars. It's great that scientists are able to make money, but at the same time, it's kind of sad. Elizabeth Holmes, wow. The founder of Theranos, a groundbreaking biotech company, saw her dreams crumble in the face of legal challenges. But what led to her downfall, and how did she go from a Forbes 30 under 30 success story to the center of a high-profile trial? Elizabeth Holmes captured the world's attention with her ambitious vision to revolutionize blood testing through her company, Theranos. At the age of 30, she graced the cover of numerous magazines and became a Forbes 30 under 30 luminary, celebrated for her innovative approach to healthcare. Until people were like, does this actually make sense? What's she saying she gonna do? As the accolades poured in, cracks began to appear in the foundation of Theranos. Investigative journalism exposed the company's questionable practices, and allegations emerged that Theranos had misled investors and patients about the capabilities of its blood testing technology. So, In 2018, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged Holmes with massive fraud.
So at one time, she was compared to Steve Jobs, and now she's a convicted felon who is facing up to 20 years behind bars.
The allegations claim that she, along with former Theranos president Ramesh Sunny Balwani, engaged in an elaborate, years-long fraud in which they exaggerated or made false statements about the company's business, technology, and financial performance. So Elizabeth Holmes' legal troubles came to a head in a highly publicized trial where she faced charges of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The prosecution argued that she knowingly deceived investors, patients, and doctors, painting a picture of a charismatic leader who put her ambition above ethical standards. So damn, yeah, like maybe don't say you could do a whole bunch more than you even think is possible scientifically. That seems like a good idea. Promising that you have more science than everybody when you really don't and no way of making it real? I mean, how did you expect that to go?
The Theranos founder who was convicted of fraud just had her sentence reduced. Elizabeth Holmes, who was sentenced to 11.5 years in prison, will now spend just over 9 years in prison.
Okay, and then there's something about her using a fake voice.
What happens when you work to change things and first they think you're crazy, then they fight you?
If true, crazy.
No, it hasn't. Well, if I use traditional.
And then finally, Sam Bankman-Fried. Do I even need to explain?
He used to be Sam Bankman-Fried, and now he is Sam Bankman-jailed.
He's the only person on this list whose name has been condensed down to an acronym. Once you have an acronym and people know who you are, you made it straight to jail.
Well, convicted crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried will not face a second trial. The disgraced FTX founder was found guilty last month of defrauding customers and investors of at least $10 billion US.
I can honestly say I remember when his story first came out, and even before the crimes, I was jealous of him. I was like, how come there are no politicians coming to me to fund their campaign?
Sam Bankman-Fried gave millions to groups supporting candidates on both sides of the aisle.
And we the same age. I was jealous, and then when everything happened...
The crypto entrepreneur made about $40 million in political donations in the 2022 election cycle. And
then CoffeeZilla?
I interviewed Sam Bankman-Fried, and he hated it so much that he left within minutes. In part because he didn't know he would be interviewed by me. He thought he was being interviewed by someone else on Twitter. And I snuck up in the DMs and got on the call and started peppering him with some harder questions. And within minutes of that, suddenly Mr. Open and Honest decided he needed to leave.
You know it's bad when CoffeeZilla is at your trial.
I flew to New York City to watch it all happen live.
But for some reason, he just kept going on CoffeeZilla and other news outlets and just exposing.
But I didn't let that stop me because I joined an interview the very next day doing the exact same thing, ambushing him again, and I got some pretty good answers out of it. I think.
And then his whole girlfriend thing. And through the process of making this video, I've realized that I need to really appreciate my own life. There's so many people that I actually was jealous of, and now looking at it like this, I'm like, the life that I appreciate the most is my own. There's so many people who didn't even begin to achieve the things that they were known for until after that time in life. Stan Lee hit his stride in his 40s. Vera Wang didn't start doing her fashion stuff until after her 30s. The guy who created McDonald's, KFC. I could be creating the next McDonald's in the next 10 years, or 20. Samuel Jackson. And the thing about Stan Lee is that not only did he get his success later in life, he saw his stuff become even more successful throughout the rest of his life. Honestly, he passed on at the best time. So what do you guys think? Who do you think has the wildest story? It probably is SBF because of recency bias. Who do you think was the worst on the list? And have you ever been jealous of somebody and then realized, you know what? My own life is the best life that I could have. Watch this other video I made about something.